Hey YouTube, this is CC Carney here with a pickup video. This is quite a bit of stuff. Well, not a lot of stuff, but a lot of trips. Flea market on Sunday and a bunch of thrift stores over the week. Haven't had a lot of luck at thrift stores recently. I don't know. It's just been pretty barren. Here's what I found at the thrift stores. First thing we have here is Activision Game Vault Volume 1, and it has Pitfall, Return to Zork, Shanghai 2, and Earthworm Jim, which is pretty cool. Paid $3, and it has all the discs, and it looks like it has an extra one, because there's 2 on that one. There's 4 discs, and it contains High Octane, which is not an Activision game, so I think it was just accidentally thrown in here. But so hey, extra game, I guess. Yeah, $3. That's not bad. I did find some PlayStation 1, PS1 games. We've got Formula 1 Championship Edition. And these are all, well, obviously complete with the manual. You can see it there. And the discs are scratchless, great shape. So, good deal. These were all, I think, yep, $2 a piece. We've got Bugs Bunny Lost in Time. Got Pandemonium 2. And for PC, but also $2, is Star Wars X-Wing Alliance. Both discs are in there. I'm a big Star Wars fan, so this is cool to have. Pretty much anything I don't already have that's Star Wars and gaming related, I will get. And then the last one was not in the game section. The game section had a few Genesis games, but you could tell it was remnants, which I always get disappointed in. There's another store I went to that had remnants of NES games, and actually I don't have it here, but I did pick up Mickey Mousecapade. I didn't have it. It was only $2. It's not really worth a lot, but I didn't have it, so I picked it up. And the other NES games were terrible. And it's the same thing here with the Genesis games. They're all common titles and stuff. But this was over in the toy section. Wolverine Adamantium Rage, and it's complete. Good condition. The instruction manual and the cart. The label is coming off, but I think I can pretty easily get that back down. There's no tears in it or anything like that. Nothing written on it. So that's a pretty good deal. I paid $3 for this. So yeah, and that's all I found all week. And I go 4 days a week to thrift stores, and that's all I found. Pretty disappointing. But I did find some stuff at a flea market on Sunday. The first lot here, I paid $1 each. Nothing spectacular, but we got Simpsons Hit and Run for PC, both discs, and it was only $1. It's a good deal. I was a Simpsons fan growing up, and Hit and Run, I believe, is like a Grand Theft Auto style in the Simpsons universe, so pretty cool. A couple Genesis games, a couple sports games, nothing big. FIFA Soccer 95, this is complete with the instructions. It's the only reason I got it. It was $1, I didn't already have it, and it's complete, so hey, not bad. And I also got NCAA football, again, complete, great shape, not a valuable game by any means, but something I can add to the collection for $1. Then I found another guy who disappointed me a little bit. He saw me carrying what I'll get to at the end there, those NES games, and said he had some at the beginning of the day in the box, but that he had already sold them at the beginning of the day, right at the beginning. And what I suspected was true. Anyways, I ended up buying this from him. Haunted House for Atari 2600, complete, the box and manual. I paid $5. That's probably about how much it's worth, but it's in good shape, and I don't know. I just thought I'd buy something from the guy. He seemed like a nice guy, and he might be there in the future with more games, so got that. But yeah, so he had NES games at one point, and he said he sold 4 boxed NES games to some guy for $20. And one of them was, he mentioned this one I really wanted. And what I suspected was true. I went to the resellers area, and I was talking to one of the guys there, and he had mentioned that he had just picked up 4 boxed NES games. And I knew it was the ones that the guy had just said he just sold for $20. But luckily for me, the reseller guy was a little off on his not on his game, I guess, because he said that all the titles that he had were common, and I knew that one of them was not in fact that common and pretty uncommon, has some value to it. And so I asked him how much he wanted for a box, and he told me $10, which is a pretty good deal. And so I took him up on it. I'm sure he'll still make a profit off of the rest of them. You know, all he has to do is make more than $10 in the only 3-box games, so he'll do fine. But the game I got was Dracula, Bram Stoker's Dracula, and the box is in great shape, which is awesome for an NES game. And it's complete, styrofoam, instructions, game, nothing on the game. Game's in perfect shape, been very well taken care of. And I know that the game alone goes for about $15, so I figured with the box and instructions it's probably a lot more. I could probably get around $40. So to get it for $10 as from a reseller, it's a good thing that he hadn't looked it up yet, apparently, because he probably would have asked for more. But yeah, so good deal there. And then we come to this here, and this is actually the first thing I found when I was there. They had some guy had a box, kind of hidden, but a box of NES games, and most of them were really common. But I was able to work out a deal. And the only reason I bought, there's one good one, and the only reason I bought the other 3 is because I didn't want it to look too suspicious. I wanted to look like, you know, I was just a regular collector, just trying to get a few games. And I originally picked out 3, and he told me $4 each, so I convinced him to let me get 4 for $15. And again, the first 3 are pretty common. For some reason, I thought I didn't have any of these, and I already had 2 of them. I already have Batman Returns, which is fine because this is pretty damaged. Sun, it'd been sitting out in the sun. Some of them were much worse. This is actually not so bad. You can see all the bumps and stuff from being out in the sun too long. So that's pretty disappointing. But I already have it apparently, so no loss really. Yeah, I lost a few dollars. I guess I had to pay for it, but more than makes it up on the last game. This I didn't have already. I didn't have yet. It's Jaws. Not incredibly valuable, but I didn't have it, so I figured it was a good way to add to my collection while still getting a good deal, because I figured no matter what, if I pick up every game I don't have, it's still going to be worth it because of the last game. But, so I'll build up the hype for you. We got Friday the 13th. I already have this. Didn't know I had it, and I thought it was more valuable than it is. I was thinking about Nightmare on Elm Street. It's worth a little bit more. But no big deal. So yep, Friday the 13th. And the last, but not least, we got Battletoads Double Dragon, which is a pretty rare game for the NES. And it's funny because when I you know, showed the guy what games I wanted, he mentioned that it goes for, it's like, yeah, it goes for a lot on eBay. And I'm like, wow, if you know that, why would you sell it for like $3 or $4? It works. I tested it. I was just suspecting maybe it didn't work, but I tested it out and it works just fine. There is a little bit of writing on the label that I'll try to get off. And they engraved on the cartridge. I mean, if you look at it straight on, it's hard to see it, but once you get into the light, you can see it's engraved there. And on the back, on the top, if I can get it, yeah, see it there. So if anybody has any tips on how I could possibly get that engraving off, I don't know how it's possible, but hey, maybe somebody has some awesome tool or something that can get that off of there somehow. I mean, you can't just sand it because the surface isn't smooth on the cartridge, so you'd have a smooth surface, and I'd rather have the light engraving than a completely smooth surface. So I might have to leave it like that, but even still, I mean, this is a pretty expensive, pretty rare game, so I'm excited to get it. I really enjoy playing it for Super Nintendo. This is pretty much the same game, but with worse graphics, but you know, it's a nice addition. So yeah, and those are my pickups for the week. Tomorrow I'll be hitting up the garage sales. I hope to get something awesome. That's been my best luck, has been at the garage sales, and I did find that there's one. I'm going to try to get there early tomorrow. It opens at 8 a.m. Tomorrow, and it says lots of games and systems, so I know it's going to be a fight, I'm sure, but I have to get there early and see if I can fight it out for something good. But probably be another video this weekend with my garage sale finds. So until then, see ya.